Pre-instructional planning is an integral part of unit planning and features the unit goal, unit rationale, unit objectives, and additional information. The unit's pre-instructional information is crucial because it helps an educator defend their unit's educational value, establishes clear expectations for students, clarifies the unit's goals and objectives, and provides guidance for creating the rest of the unit plan. In other words, the pre-instructional information gives a brief outline of what the rest of the unit plan will contain and helps teachers stay focused on the most important educational goals and objectives. The unit goal describes the unit's educational goals in terms of the 4 learning domains: the psychomotor, cognitive, social, and affective learning domains. The skills to be learned in each domain are briefly described. For example, a unit goal might state that a student will learn foot dribbling skills, offensive spacing, and communication to effectively participate in small-sided soccer games. In short, the unit goal describes what students should learn and be capable of doing after completing the unit. In this way, the unit goal influences the rest of the pre-instructional information and the daily lesson plans, and the teachers should refer back to their unit goal during a unit to check if students are actually learning the intended skills. The unit goal may also briefly describe the educator's purpose for teaching the content. For example, to help students engage in a new sport outside of class, such as disc golf, by teaching them fundamental skills and knowledge. To facilitate social learning, students might reflect on how their peer relationships have changed during participation in a cooperative learning unit, or to improve the student's health-related fitness. On this slide is an example of a unit goal. This example has been slightly shortened, although the unit goal should only be about a paragraph long. The unit goal should contain enough information so that it's clear the skills the students will be learning, the specific instructional strategies or activities being used to facilitate this learning, and how the learned skills can be applied outside of class. Other than this information, the unit goal should be kept concise so that learning expectations, instructional strategies, and educational goals are clear. Just to highlight a few components of this unit goal example, the opening sentence describes the grade level and uses appropriate terminology, such as the physically literate individual will, and then briefly describes the skills which students will learn in each learning domain. The final sentence of this unit goal describes the educator's intentions for students' continued engagement with the learning content outside of class. By participating in the unit, students will be able to play recreational disc golf and be respectful, cooperative, and productive, participating with other sports players. The unit rationale falls immediately after the unit goal and defends the inclusion of the unit in the physical education curriculum by describing how the unit meets Shape America national PE standards, elaborating on the cultural, community, and personal value of the unit topic, and showing how the unit promotes physical activity, both during and outside of class. The main emphasis of the unit rationale is describing the unit topic's importance and justifying its inclusion in physical education's limited instructional time. The unit rationale should be slightly longer and more detailed than the unit goal, at least several sentences longer. And to defend the unit's importance, the rationale should include information about how the unit topic promotes continuous physical activity, the local relevance and significance of the activity, and the use of equipment which is inexpensive, accessible, and modifiable. Furthermore, emphasis can be placed on increasing the overall reputation, relevance, and credibility of the physical education program by featuring non-traditional activities which increase students' engagement, motivation, and learning. On this slide is an example of a shortened unit rationale. Although there are a lot of words on the screen, and you can pause the video if you'd like to read the entire paragraph, this example is intended to give a better idea of what a unit rationale might look like, and I'll highlight the most important parts now. The first sentence of this unit rationale example describes how the unit is aligned with the Shape America national standards. The unit rationale continues on to describe the importance of working in partner pairs during the unit. This strategy maximizes practice, provides social interaction opportunities, and increases cognitive learning through discussion. Finally, the unit rationale lists how the unit topic, disc golf, helps meet physical activity guidelines and provides many benefits from participating in a natural environment. Together, the unit goal and the unit rationale make up the primary information which a physical educator might use to defend their teaching practice to administrators or parents, advocate to administration or coworkers for the inclusion of a new unit in the physical education curriculum, or communicate with students, coworkers, and parents about the learning expectations for the unit. Each unit should include a teaching style and a curricular model. Teaching styles are the types of instructional strategies the teacher uses, which might include command teaching, peer-to-peer corrective feedback, or reproduction of teacher-demonstrated physical skills. A curricular model describes a more overarching teaching strategy with a specific goal, such as promoting development of personal and social responsibility, or teaching students the skills to understand sports from many different perspectives. These components may range from teacher-centered to student-centered, and teachers may use a variety of instructional strategies to promote learning. The teaching style Rationale and the curricular model Rationale defend the teacher's choices, highlighting each class's unique behavior management considerations, learning preferences, and motivation and engagement levels. Even if a teacher is using an eclectic combination of teaching styles and curricular models, which is quite common in physical education, they should describe the purpose of their choices and identify how each teaching style and curricular model will be applied in the classroom. Unit objectives are broad objectives which describe the unit's learning expectations. Each unit should have unit objectives in each learning domain, and these unit objectives should be used to help make daily lesson objectives for lesson plans. It's incredibly important to emphasize learning in all domains in physical education because PE is the only content area in which students can learn in all domains. Although learning in many of the domains can be spontaneous and less planned, purposefully describing expectations and goals helps ensure all students are attaining the most from participation in physical education. Finally, unit objectives should be clearly connected to the Shape America National PE Standards and should emphasize the essential skills necessary to be competent in a unit's topic. Creating strong pre-instructional statements and unit plans is important for many reasons, including defending your unit's educational value to administrators and coworkers, clarifying your unit's goals and objectives, establishing clear expectations with students, and providing guidance for creating the rest of the unit. Don't skip over your unit's pre-instructional information and establish clear goals and expectations for your unit by creating a detailed and thoughtful unit goal, unit rationale, and unit objectives. Thank you for watching.